Yes, what's up, everybody? I like to make sure that Periscope, DLive, YouTube, and Facebook are all live before I get full-blown started. And Twitch connects shortly. It is Wednesday, 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. Nice timing. And it is September 30th, 2020. And I will be taking your calls. Some of you guys already calling in, 888-775-3773. I invite you to call in with your commentary on the debates and whether it matters and whether it was depressing. Like, there's some like liberal reporters, such as the Wall Street Journal, which is a rhino outlet, liberal. Wall Street Journal were part of the people who tried to take down PewDiePie for so-called racism. Stupid. Told you they were liberals. And there's this liberal independent journalist whom I like and respect. Michael Tracy felt like it was the sign of like decline of America. Let me know what you guys think. You can call in. I will give you some of my thoughts about it. Trump, real. Biden, fake. Chris Wallace, soft, and also supporting lies. Parscale, I have an update on Parscale. Turns out that they may have been lying about him. The Daily Mail. I told you guys about him a little bit in Hake News. I have some Drudge headlines, some Revolver headlines. People lie. It's hard to believe almost. I don't know if it's a bad reflection on me that it's like surprising sometimes when people lie. It's like, oh wow, really? They lie. But we'll be talking about it. All right, yes, Twitch is a go. Shout out to Radulazer. Radulazer? I don't know, man. Appreciate you joining there. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Isn't it a disgrace? The kiss-ups and simps and weak people that get propped up into positions of so-called power in the world. I was looking at the pictures that our engineers were showing you and me on this stream intro. And they're showing pictures of Chris Wallace, who just looks, my grandma looks tougher than him, and she's dead now. And more conservative too, more manly, tough, genuine, no nonsense. Man, he was, oh gosh, I'm gonna talk about that. And then this Chrisopher Wray guy, I had to look him up because Biden, I think, referenced him with regard to Antifa being an idea, which was said last night. And according to Jesse Lee Peterson's producer, Nick, Trump's like, oh yeah, an idea, bat to the head, that's a real idea. And a bat to the head is a reference to Antifa, Black Lives Matter, hitting a cop in the back of the head up in Portland, Oregon, just a few nights ago. Or maybe there's been other bats to the head, no doubt, right? Luckily, that officer did have a helmet. It's crazy. Meanwhile, there's an attack on, like, men. Parscale, Brad Parscale, you know, I know that the story's kind of inconsequential to, like, the country and everything, but it's just an example of, in my mind, the attack on men and the attack on Trump, and also maybe perhaps, very likely, the weakness of men, because he really shouldn't even be with the wife that he's with. He already has a child and was already married by previously. So, but they're really going, the Daily Mail is acting like he's done some sketchy things, and I'm not sure that he has. They just want to smear the Trump campaign. I have to reconnect with my sometimes this network doesn't work properly. Let me just disconnect from Wi-Fi too. What a mess. Hang on, guys. You know what? Let me get to Russ in Hampton, Virginia. He wants to talk about Trump, and then I will get to these stories. But while I'm fiddling, I might as well be chatting with Russ. Russ, it's good to hear from you. How are you doing?
How you doing, James?
Doing fine.
Yeah, I was just wondering how you felt about the debates last night.
They were okay.
First of all.
It was a little hit and miss.
Okay.
But
also,
Trump was genuine. Biden was phony. That was all predictable. Biden was a formidable and shameless and bold liar, like I predicted. And Chris Wallace was predictably soft and kissing up to the lies of the mainstream, fake news lies about racism and climate change. I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised at him, honestly, because I didn't expect him to be scolding Trump when Trump was actually bringing value to the debate. But he wanted to. He's like a rules follower, like a hall monitor. It's pathetic. I think we're back.
Okay, so let me also ask you this.
What do you think of it?
I thought Trump was disrespectful. I thought that he couldn't shut his mouth and he couldn't follow the rules. I mean, he's a big bully, like he's always been.
A bully.
I mean,
Aren't you embarrassed to be a grown man complaining about somebody being a big bully?
I'm not embarrassed to do anything. And if I
I know.
was in Chris Wallace's shoes,
I actually know
I'd
that.
told him to shut the hell up. Is what I'd told him. But no.
Yeah, you'd be real tough. Real tough.
I am real tough.
Okay, man.
Now I know you're gonna say. I know you're gonna say that I'm violent and all this kind of stuff. And all that.
Here, listen.
Yes, I can be if I need to be.
Let me address his interruptions, because Trump did interrupt. There was a young black man, I believe he was black, caller with sense, who called into Jesse's show just before Nick and I gave our take on the debate, and that young man, who has way more sense than you, honestly.
You don't know me. You don't know how much sense I have.
Come on, based on your calls, I know how little sense you make on your calls.
Based on your program, you're an idiot.
Okay, fine, but thank you for calling. But he said that Trump did interrupt a lot, but the stuff that he said in his interruptions needed to be said. And he was addressing lies. He was addressing lies. A debate is a back and forth. Hold on.
He calls everything that goes against him as hoax and lies. Everything. Is there anything that Trump can? Is there anything?
No,
that
here.
Trump
Let me
can
finish.
Do
Let me. You interrupted me, Russ.
Because I'm a grown-ass man. If I
put him on hold. Don't hang up, Russ. I'm just putting you on hold because you keep on interrupting me. He interrupted Biden when Biden was outright lying. And Chris Wallace allowed those lies to just stand. A debate is a back and forth. You say something, I say something, and then we address the lies and sort out what the truth is. So Trump did right. He wasn't disrespectful.
He was disrespectful.
You know who was disrespectful? You know who was disrespectful? It was that petty Chris Wallace saying, well, Trump, we agreed to do this, and can you do that? He was disrespectful. And then even more disrespectful was Joe Biden calling him a clown, calling him, shut up, man. He really literally sounded like he was pouting. Shut up, man. I never heard Joe Biden sound so pathetic as when he said, shut up, man. Anyway. So you thought that, what did you think of Joe Biden?
You know what? For me, it's not even about Joe Biden. I'd vote for my grandson before I would vote for Trump. So it doesn't matter
Simp.
who runs against him. I'll vote for
Simp.
anybody other than Trump.
Are you a Republican or a Democrat or independent?
I'm a person that can see things for myself. That's what I am. It doesn't matter what I am.
I know, this is funny. Well, I'm an individual. Oh, man.
That's funny that I think for myself.
You don't think for yourself. It's funny that everybody who doesn't
And
think for themselves
how do you know
thinks
what
that they
how
think
do
for
you know what I
themselves.
do?
Because
You
based
follow
on the
Jesse-
dumb
you
stuff that you're
follow-
saying
you
right here,
follow
right
Jesse-
now.
You follow Jesse Lee Peterson like you're a lap dog.
So? Because he's right.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
he's
he
an
is.
Idiot and a fool.
Well, you shouldn't say that. Are you a Christian?
It doesn't matter what I am. He's an idiot and a fool.
Well, it matters who you are because it does matter who you are.
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm me,
Okay,
and
interesting.
That's all you need to
don't
know.
like to look at yourself.
Okay, and you know that how?
Because you said it doesn't matter what you are. You're focused
doesn't
on
matter.
calling
It doesn't
Jesse
matter.
Lee Peterson an idiot and a fool. Wow.
He is an idiot and a fool.
Oh, okay. Look in the mirror, buddy.
I don't have to look in the mirror. You look in the mirror.
I do. That's why my hair's so nice. At least the front.
It's not really nice. It really isn't.
Whatever.
Okay.
Would
Wow.
you? So you agree with me that Chris Wallace is pretty soft?
I mean, he was in a position to where he was respectful. I wouldn't have been respectful.
We
So
know
he
that.
was in a position to be respectful.
We know that. You've been highly
Why? 'Cause
disrespectful on this
why? 'Cause
show
I'm
and
black?
Jesse Lee Peterson's show before.
Yes, I have called Jesse Lee Peterson before.
No, disrespectful.
I was disrespectful to Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah, very disrespectful.
Okay, and
And what? You're the one complaining about Trump supposedly being disrespectful. Dumb.
he was. I'm not the president of the United States. I don't have to.
He was
conduct
real.
myself with
He was real. He was
decorum.
addressing
He was
lies.
real stupid. That's what he was.
Real stupid, but he was addressing lies.
And lies that you say. Just because you think something is a lie is not. How'd you feel about? You never did ever answer my question.
Do you support abortion?
Is there anything that Trump can do that you disagree with? Because it's like.
Yeah. I didn't agree with him holding the gay flag, kissing up to the gays too much. Didn't agree with him on that. I didn't agree with him saying that, what's that guy, Bruce Jenner, could go into the women's bathroom. I didn't really agree with him on that.
Well, I give you props for that. Then. I give you props for.
Oh,
at
thank
least.
you. It means so much coming from you.
It doesn't have to mean anything.
Yeah, it
It's just-
doesn't, man.
it just
because it
seems
just
like
means
from
that
your
you're a
program-
snake.
I'm not. What? And so what? What if I am a snake? So what? What's that got to do with you?
You're calling my show.
And I can. Is there a problem with that?
No, but I can call you a snake, and you can't.
I'm trying to be like Mace. Is what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be your number one.
Yeah,
caller.
follow a woman.
I'm trying
to be my favorite
your
caller.
Number one caller.
I like
Yes,
you.
I'm trying
I
to
like
be.
you. I like talking with you sometimes.
I don't dislike you, man. I just disagree with most of the stuff that you say. Like, I don't understand how people think like you. Like, anything that you say and believe
just
is
shows-
the truth, and anybody that disagrees
You
is wrong.
listen to the Jesse Lee Peterson show too, right?
When I can't sleep, sometimes I'll turn it on. Like, I enjoyed the interview that he just did with David Pakman because it made him look real stupid. Like, he couldn't even articulate himself.
It shows how stupid you are.
See, you're going to make me get.
No, but I mean,
Ignorant,
David
and I don't wanna
Pakman,
do
there was
that.
nothing genuine about David Pakman. He was phony there too.
To you.
To anybody sane.
That's a lie. David
No,
Pakman
you don't
ran
recognize
circles
lies.
around-
That's a lie
David
in your mind.
David Pakman ran circles around Jesse Lee Peterson.
No, he did not.
Jesse Lee Peterson can't even barely read.
And
He's an idiot.
idiot for Christ.
Hey, man, whatever his religious beliefs are his religious belief. I don't care about that. That's his business.
I know, but he's idiot based
put
on
nobody-
truth.
Why is his truth the number? Why is his truth the albeit truth?
I don't believe in any his truth. I believe that he's telling the truth.
Okay, well then you're too stupid to realize the real truth.
Okay.
You don't think there's racism, and you don't think that there's police brutality. You don't believe that?
No.
So why do cops get thrown in jail and all that kind of stuff for the things that they do?
A lot of times it's because of phony politics. Because there's a whole delusion. You know, there's a whole bunch of suckers like you who believe that police brutality is real. And they'll blame the cops for even doing their job.
So
Lots of times I think cops are getting railroaded because there's a declining sense of justice in this world. And that was on full display last night, where the media, the mainstream media in Chris Wallace, and the Democrats are just brazenly lying, and then Trump is just, you know, fighting back the way that he knows how. And you're calling him disrespectful. He's the only one who actually loves the country up there on that stage, including Chris Wallace, by the way.
That's what you believe.
Yeah, Chris Wallace he might try to be fair, but he's a liberal.
And once again,
and so he's supporting the he's supporting the
That's
destruction of the
ridiculous.
country, Russ. Why do you even listen to this show?
Because I like to hear what stupid people say, because it's interesting how people think like you think.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
about
I
the
understand.
emoluments clause? How much money has Trump made since he's been in office? We all know what his tax returns
I don't
say.
know. He gives away his $400,000 salary, presidential salary.
and then when he wants to
What
have
do
the
you even
G7
care about?
summit,
What do you even care about his income? You're such a puppet for the mainstream media. Jeez, get your brain.
I'm a puppet.
Yeah, there's no way that you, as a normal, uninfluenced person, would be interested in his money situation. Fake.
Why wouldn't I be interested in the president of the United States that's knee deep in debt to where he can make money off
knee
other
deep in
countries?
debt.
What about the $72 million that he's
If he
being
were knee
investigated
deep in
for?
debt, do you really think that he would decline his $400,000 a year salary for 8 years? 8 years. Assuming that he wins.
He's leveraging that against $400 million that he has due in a couple of years.
Whatever. You don't know what you're talking. Are you a millionaire?
You don't know.
Are you a millionaire, Russ?
I don't have to be.
Are you a millionaire?
I don't have to be.
You do to know what you're talking about.
I know. I paid more than $750 in taxes over the past 2 years.
shows that
He
you're a
hasn't.
sucker too for the fake news media. You haven't been listening to Hake News.
I don't have to, because that's a bunch of bullcrap.
Nuh-uh. No,
Program,
I cited lines directly from that New York Times article that supposedly exposed that he only paid $750 when two paragraphs prior it says that he paid $1 million in 2016 and $4.2 million in 2017. So now,
Let's stop going back and forth. Let me ask you a question. Don't raise your voice to me
now.
like that.
Dude,
Let me ask you a question.
No. Are you a millionaire?
let me ask you a
Are you a
question.
millionaire?
I don't have to be a millionaire.
So you don't know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm
No,
talking
you don't.
about. But let me ask
you
you
said $750. That's fake news, dude.
You finished?
Yeah.
Dude, bro.
I used to think bro was a white thing, and then the blacks took it back.
Well, that's what we're doing.
They started it, we copied it, and then they took it back from us.
Yeah, we're taking a lot of stuff back. But let me ask you a question. Trump says that tax return thing is a hoax. It's a lie. It's fake
is.
news. So why doesn't he put out his real taxes like he said?
Why does he need to? He doesn't. Nobody honest, nobody who actually cares about the country cares about his taxes.
They do care because he's the president of the United States. He can leverage money coming into him for favors from other foreign governments.
That's a dumb conspiracy theory, dummy.
It's not.
Yes,
Even
it
if
is.
you try to get a job with the government, they always look at your financial situation.
And they looked at his
because that
financial
makes you a
situation.
security risk.
You really think that Trump is influenced by foreigners? Stupid.
Yes, I do. Yes.
That shows how dumb you are.
It
shows how dumb you are. Russ, that's not thinking for yourself. You don't even know what thinking for yourself means. It doesn't even exist. What a fake. Anyway, appreciate it, Russ.
okay.
Good to hear from you.
It doesn't exist. Sure. That's what you say all the time. You're just as bad as Trump.
Thank you.
I hope you grow up one day and learn to think for yourself instead of sucking up behind Jesse Lee Peterson's behind.
You better be careful, Russ.
Why I got to be careful for?
Because
what are you gonna do?
you don't want to
What
be
you gonna do?
disrespectful. You said that you want to
I
be.
can be disrespectful because I'm not the president of the United States. I don't have
No,
to
but
have
you want to
decorum.
become.
I
You
can
want
do
to become
whatever
the
I
next
wanna do.
Mays. You want to become the next favorite caller. You better not be.
I do.
You
I
better
do.
not become
I
dirty.
Like Mays.
I know,
I
but
like
you just
hearing Mays.
you got
You ought to have her on the show
you
more
made a
often,
dirty
actually.
reference, Russ. Mays is
And?
not nasty like she's not vulgar like you.
You haven't seen Vulgar. You haven't seen Vulgar. You
It
haven't
doesn't
seen
matter.
Bomb.
She's not vulgar like you.
And what
And so you're not going to become my favorite caller. You'll get yourself banned for being disgusting. This is a family-friendly, child-friendly show, and kids listen.
Okay, well then I'll start my own show. How about that?
All right. Meet me outside. See what happens.
Do what?
All right. I just made a joke about that lady who said, "Catch me outside. How about that?"
Oh yeah, it wasn't funny. It was a joke. It wasn't
No,
funny
because
at all.
you're hard of hearing. I'm just kidding.
I am hard of hearing. I'm
Oh,
hard
okay.
of hearing. I'm visually
My bad.
disabled. I'm
Don't say
very-
disabled. Say handicapped. It's better.
No, I'm disabled.
Handicapped is
I'm
better.
disabled. Okay, well I'm visually challenged and I'm disabled. Okay?
All
that
right.
make you happy? You gonna laugh about that? Ha 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 ha! Hardy hard. That's funny.
So immature. Thank you, Russ. Good to hear from
Am
you,
I?
man. Yeah, you are,
Yeah.
but let's talk again another day.
All right. Well, why don't you gain a little bit of sense before we talk again? How about that?
How about getting a little bit of muscle?
I
All
don't
right.
have muscle.
Okay, cool. Take care, man.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. By the way, I'm wearing my Get a Job t-shirt. Get a Job, faithful supporter of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, at least in the sense that he puts out these compilations of Jesse Lee Peterson's savage moments. I think he's put out like 62 of them now. 62. And Jesse Lee Peterson's excellent moments keep coming. And so he keeps on pumping out the Savage Moments compilations. Right on. Appreciate that. That's how a lot of people have come across Jesse Lee Peterson. So that's cool. We do have a Bond Sunday service premiere planning on 4 p.m. I think I'll be able to make it. I'm the one who kind of edits it together and puts it out there for the church channel. Bond Rebuilding the Man church channel. Peter from Periscope gave a diamond saying, your blog post on how AG Barr will do nothing, thumbs up. Thank you, man. Actually, I read that from somebody else. And I linked to that person. That was in my blog post from yesterday's show. thehakereport.com/blog. Yesterday's show would have been Tuesday, September 29th. And I touched on it. Yeah, people say, I will be getting to your calls. Appreciate you guys. But people say that Ilhan Omar is going to get it now because she was exposed by Project Veritas and Trump is on board with investigating her. But Attorney General Barr, do you really think that guy is going to stand up against the so-called deep state? I mean, he'll compare them to kindergartners. I'm referring to the so-called intelligence career bureaucrats, unelected bureaucrats who are working actively to undermine President Trump and smear so-called white supremacists as the terror threat, the lethal terror threat, as opposed to what's happening before our very eyes all around the country. Black Lives Matter, tearing up the cities and leaving them wide open for crime to spike, which it has. Black on black murders have spiked, black on white, black on cop murders and shootings, attempted murders, have gone crazy. So, yeah, thank you. I don't see Attorney General Barr. I'm not convinced that he's as solid as some people might assume. Because I mean, I don't trust any of these people. I don't trust anybody in the Senate. I don't trust anybody in the House. I trust Trump, but I don't trust anybody he's hired. Did you know that he appointed Rod Rosenstein? He appointed Rod Rosenstein as his deputy attorney general behind Jeff Sessions, who turned out to be pretty weak too. I'm going to get to this Chrisopher Wray stuff and all that. But yeah, you can't really trust people. Yeah, Trump, yesterday, President Trump, he addressed this, what was called racial sensitivity training, which is a joke. Nobody should have to go through that. If you're raised right, you're a pretty decent person. And you don't need to go through any racial sensitivity training or any type of sensitivity training. That sounds like communist re-education camp, doesn't it? Much less this thing that a bunch of blacks and a Japanese woman came up with called critical race theory. What a joke. And it's evil too. And a whole lot of the mob, including the educated mob, the uneducated mob, the rioters, the so-called peaceful protesters, and the mainstream media that support them are all so-called educated, indoctrinated in these lies of racism, white supremacy, implicit bias, just scrutinizing and coming up with lies and false smears and phony suspicions against police and whites and Proud Boys and egging and nagging and attacking the decent people while just turning a complete blind eye to, like, what's going on right before us. The black violent crime, Antifa violent crime, and complete, like, political prosecutions. How in the world is Keith Ellison an attorney general of anything? He's the attorney general, the top prosecutor in the state of, what, is that Minnesota or Missouri or whatever? I don't know. A black Muslim radical who held this Antifa book and said, this should strike fear in the heart of Donald Trump. And then his son calls himself Antifa, who's like a councilman in Minneapolis or something like that. What a disgrace. Let me get to Art in Ohio. He wants to talk about this Trump versus Joe Biden debate. Art, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up with you, man? How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. How are you?
Real quick, I'm all right. Let me go ahead and run down my bulletin points for my favorite people on the show, Hake and the specialist, man. So
nice.
First of all, I was at the bar. So look, I'm watching the little debates and whatnot. So I'm at the house. So I'm getting all extra hype just listening to Trump. Trump said, he said, man, don't talk to me about being smart. You don't even remember what college you went to, man. I was tore up when he said that. Okay, so this is who y'all want to put in office. This man don't even remember what college he went to, man. That's my first thing. Second of all, when I was in the bar, I went up to the bar because I was too loud in my apartment or whatnot, so I'm up at the bar watching the debate. So I'm listening to Biden, and he ain't staying on subject, so I said it out loud. So a chick that came outside where I was at, she like, who you like? I said, I like Trump.
Nice.
And she went into like literally, you can hear it in her voice. Oh, what? You like Trump? Well, she said, explain yourself. I said, excuse me, baby. I said, I'm watching the debates on my phone or whatnot. I'm not trying to talk. Plus, I already know that she's low-hanging fruit. She's not on my level politically, verbally, spiritually, none of that.
Right.
So I'm just trying to basically blow her off because I don't even want to entertain the conversation because I know she's a bird brain. So long story short, so I stopped the conversation, kept watching the debates or whatnot, Hake and friends. So when I watched the debate, another female comes out. So when the other female comes out, she starts talking to the other female, and which they didn't know each other. Then she gonna tell the other female like he likes Trump. And I look back, I said, and so what? I said,
Right.
and I do. And I was about to say, and I was like, and I ain't scared to say it. And I was like, she was like, so I just want to know why you like Trump or what? I just want to know why you like Trump. I said, I don't got to explain nothing to you. And I was about to say, don't be trying to get your little fans up out here trying to put me on blast, trying to tell everybody to come out here that I like Trump. That I like Trump because I tell them and I tell you I'm not scared of none of you. So, but that's what I want to say about that little situation. Then one problem is with Russ sound like he's a little young. But see, what Russ don't understand is God let people like Nancy Pelosi stay on Earth. Their souls already been lost. They already going to hell. But see, what Russ don't understand is God's not going to play with him and other people like that. He's wiping them off this earth. If you ain't down here doing what God put you down here to do, this is the time we in the end days. He's taking y'all up off the earth. Y'all ain't going to be as lucky as Nancy. Her soul already lost. God bless you, Hake, and the specialists and Jesse. I'll talk to y'all later.
Appreciate that, Art. Thank you, man. Interesting.
Yes, sir. Oh.
Wow. I don't know what he means by that, Russ, but you are kind of immature. We'll talk again. Oh, man. I'm going to get to more calls, but quickly, I just want to make the point. I walked in and to the debate. I kind of started it late, and they were talking about this judge woman, right? Not necessarily the woman, but this Supreme Court nominee. And Joe Biden says, Roe v. Wade is on the ballot, meaning Joe Biden is for abortion. He's pro-abortion. And he's supposed to be Catholic, by the way. Fake Catholic. Fake person. And Trump is like, Roe v. Wade is not on the ballot. What are you getting this? You didn't even know his nominee's position on Roe v. Wade. Because justices are very cagey when it comes to that topic because it's so controversial for some reason. Liberals love killing babies, and they want to protect the so-called right of females to kill the man's baby in the womb, by the way. Regardless of what the man can't say anything about it. He can say all he wants, but she's going to kill the baby. And people claim, oh, the man is pressuring the woman to have an abortion. I suppose that may happen sometimes. There are a lot of males who have turned over to evil. But this is cast as a woman's thing, to kill the baby. And these people are anti-male. And they're a disgrace to females, too. Sensible ones. And so he's very pro-abortion. He's against everything good. That Joe Biden. What a kiss-up. Oh, yeah, he said he's Irish Catholic. And he made these just up brazen lies about President Trump, saying he looks down on people of color and people like me who are Irish Catholic. And Trump is like, it's not true. And everybody knows that that's a lie. But he's accusing Trump and all of the Trump supporters of looking down on people when they're the ones who look down on whites, decent whites, conservative whites, Christians, anybody who agrees with President Trump, who agrees with the truth. They look down on, they look down on us. They honestly look down on the people that they agree with, too. They don't get along. That's why I say that Joe Biden is a phony. Arizona lineman says, Russ, Mays called and said get that house clean, boy. He said it. I didn't say that, Russ. Arizona lineman says, Russ, I hear the dryer. Time to change the load. He's making fun of you. It's funny. Hydro PX says, thinks for himself, but has no opinion about Biden. That's a good point. He said that he would vote for anybody over Trump. Russ's mama dropped him on his head this morning, says Evgeny Crosby 2020. Man, they're roasting you, Russ. I don't agree with all of this stuff. Peter from Periscope says, oh yeah, I got that one. Appreciate the support, guys. I will be checking Streamlabs in a sec, but first let me get to Christina in Sacramento, California, wants to talk about this Trump debate. Christina, how are you?
Hey, good. All right. Thanks so much, James. So last night I made a gigantic pot of chili and made some cornbread and pretty much had a Super Bowl party over here.
Yeah.
And instead of the Super Bowl, we watched something much more interesting. And there were a lot of people at our house. And when the debate was over, we all sat down and, it was kind of an open forum type thing, and we all discussed what was it that brought us to be more active and more aware and more interested in today's politics. And it was interesting to hear what people had to say. And the general consensus, James, because I have a family, I have no more people that have families, but their concern was that their children are being raised now in an environment where if they go to work or something, some of them may be forced to go to sensitivity training,
right,
and brainwashed to believe that they may have some underlying racism in them.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's interesting. That was mostly what I was getting from everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that so creepy? I thought this was America.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
And I thought, wow, no. And the majority of them were saying that. I thought, wow. They said, my kids, and a lot of them, they were talking about who they have friends with, and they're mixed, and different areas that they live in. And they said, we've never sensed that from our kids. We've never taught that to them. And now they have people on social media calling them racist and whatnot because they don't believe in BLM, and they're just tired of it all.
Yeah.
And it's true.
It's interesting. People said, it doesn't bode well for the country how this debate went because they just didn't agree on anything and all that stuff. But it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody because we know that half the country, ever since Obama, or maybe even long before that, we knew that half the country was brainwashed against America. That's why the Democrat Party exists, because it's it's anti-American, just like seemingly half the population is either brainwashed to think that that's pro-America, or they just plain hate America. So
exactly, and you've talked about it ad nauseum. Everybody knows it. I mean, anybody with sense, it starts in media and the schools and everywhere. And this has been happening for quite some time.
Yep.
Another thing, James, I want to thank you. You had a caller a little bit ago. It is a family show, and we do have to show a little bit of decorum.
Yeah.
And sometimes my kids are listening, and so I appreciate you, pointing that out. That's all it is. We don't have to get horrifically nasty about things.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I appreciate that. Nice.
All right.
All right, Christina. Take care.
Have a good day.
You as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting alienated by the overstepping of the left. It's like people have forgotten that all of these riots are a huge turnoff to normal, halfway decent Americans. These riots and these attacks on decent people. It's like that's what happens when you put these like radical black females in charge, and female-minded liberals and homosexuals are just nasty towards decent people, innocent people. And they put that one woman who drank that man's drink. They invaded this patio dining area in one part of the country. This elderly couple trying to have a peaceful meal, and these black radicals and other, maybe some light-skinned radicals go in and say, "Oh, you can't be comfortable while we're not comfortable." And the woman picks up his iced tea or whatever and drinks it, and she's wearing a Nazi Lives Don't Matter t-shirt. What a sick person. And everybody's a Nazi. Everybody decent is a Nazi in their minds. It's crazy. And people are turned off to that, and they say, oh, Trump says that these riots are good for him. They're bolstering his cause. In a sense, they are, because they're serving the purpose of waking people up to how evil is being unmasked. Evil hates Trump, and so a lot of people are being like, oh, you know what? I think I'm for Trump. So we'll see what happens. I will be getting... Oh, real quick, let me just read these super chats from Streamlabs. King Alpha Nerd says, so Fussy Russ calls Trump disrespectful for interrupting Biden and yet interrupts Hake. Can I get a boy bye in the chat? Thank you, King Alpha Nerd. He also says, Russ, you can't condemn someone for being disrespectful when you are very disrespectful yourself. It's okay to be free, man. Get off the liberal plantation. Yeah, and he says, update, can I get an and in the chat? I don't know what that means. Hot Computer Smell says, Russ wants to be your favorite caller? Watch out, he's going to be calling in, talking about how soothing your voice is to him soon enough. That doesn't win me over. Just a heads up. But thank you, Hot Computer Smell. Let me get to Christine in New Jersey. Christine wants to talk about the debates.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, James.
Hey, it's nice to hear from you.
It's nice to hear from you too.
What's up?
I feel like it was not very confounding, if that's a word that I want to use.
Like, not very compelling?
No. Compelling means that they made a lot of sense.
Right.
I'm saying confounding.
Not very confounding?
Yeah.
You're talking about the debates?
Yes, sir.
Explain what you mean by that. And then, explain what you mean by confounding. Because that sounds like it wasn't very confusing.
I feel like it wasn't equal. I feel like they overtalked each other.
Yeah.
And it just seemed a little odd.
A little
to me.
Odd?
Yeah, like two children fighting a battle.
Yeah, I could see you thinking that. What did you want?
I just want to know your opinion on it.
With the fighting and the chaos that took over sometimes?
Yeah, or they can maintain 2 minutes.
Right.
It's only 2 minutes.
I know.
Dude.
Well, I didn't really mind it. I think that Chris Wallace is a weak person, and so he's only able to be tough against so-called tough. It's an imitation of tough. Like, it's plainly not tough.
Is Chris Wallace the
moderator?
The moderator?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He was only able to speak up to Trump for interrupting and not to Joe Biden. And he was only able to, like, challenge President Trump. He tried to challenge Joe Biden a little bit about, oh, did you call anybody? Did you call the Portland mayor to have him, enforce the law? Because they were not enforcing the law against these rioters. But generally, he was weak. And he basically agrees with the liberals on everything and disagrees with Trump on everything. So he's going to give extra scrutiny against Trump for telling the truth and give no scrutiny to Joe Biden for repeating lies, and he'll repeat the mainstream media lies. Yeah, he asked Biden if he supported the Green New Deal, and I think that Trump got Biden to say that he didn't support it. I don't even think that was Chris Wallace. What?
feel like Biden was reading a piece of paper every time I saw him.
I know.
He was looking down at something.
There was a time where I just rolled my eyes because he made something rhyme, right? And I was like, oh, gosh, please. That sounds so either rehearsed or just phony. Where he rhymed. He made something rhyme when he was criticizing Trump. It was so ridiculous. But you're right. It left me wanting a little bit more. I didn't want it to go longer. I wish that, I don't know. I guess that Trump may have been like a little bit ill prepared or something like that. But he handled those people the best, pretty well, considering that they're just brazenly running with lies like climate change and like the Paris Climate Accord. Please. The Paris Climate Accord is just redistribution of wealth. It doesn't do anything to help the climate. It lets the other countries like China and all them go crazy. And only America has to hold to any type of standard. And the businesses have to pay money to these celebrities and people in the so-called global wannabe government. They get money. And then they pass out these carbon tax and carbon credits and stupid stuff like that. That has nothing to do with... And then he acted like climate change... Trump not doing anything on climate change made these fires happen and stuff like that, and hurricanes, and the Midwest have storms. He claimed that the Midwest didn't have storms before climate change.
I know.
It's so ridiculous.
Weird.
He's just lying.
What are you talking about?
They have no idea what they're talking about. And so Trump basically told the truth, like, I don't think science knows. And so it was ridiculous.
All right.
Were you disappointed with Trump, or were you happy with him? You going to vote for him? What do you think?
I would never vote for Sleepy Joe.
I know.
So that's not going to happen.
Right.
So.
All right. Appreciate it, Christine. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, nice.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad that you have 2 hours, and I'm glad that you're doing a big thing. I'm so happy for you.
Appreciate that.
So.
Nice, Christine.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
Hear from you again.
All right.
All right. Wow. Cold Smoke Bear says, Hake, Hake, Hake. Hake. 4 Hakes. It's not an incantation. Thank you. And pork roll, egg, and cheese. Thank you. Gave a diamond and said Trump signs all over South Carolina. And Biden, and no Biden. No signs for Biden. Trump signs, meaning in people's yards, I take this to mean, all over South Carolina. It's funny, he says, or she says. He. Pretty sure. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, check out my blog post yesterday from yesterday's show. I linked to a few interesting articles. All right? Appreciate that. It's crazy. People are just... I was looking at Joe Biden and just wondering, this guy doesn't mind lying. He really doesn't mind lying. And I told you guys that he was going to be formidable. People were thinking, oh, he's just going to have these sunset moments. He's senile and stuff like that. Maybe, but he is boldly shameless in his evil. Oh, my gosh. And he acted like he's everybody's mother, being so phony with these shutdowns, these COVID shutdowns against the country. And it's against the country. It's against decency. It's against humanity. President Trump made the point multiple times, and he made it well. And I was glad that he made it. And he's been against it, honestly, for a long time. But he made the point that these shutdowns for allegedly this virus thing that they call a pandemic, it's more a pandemic of evil, of pandemic of shutdowns, pandemic of kissing up to, paranoia? That's what's causing problems. He's mentioned people getting on alcohol and drugs and different things, suicides, maybe. I think he said suicides going up with these shutdowns. People getting fired, people losing their jobs. people not able to conduct their businesses. He said the American people want to open back up and let them take care of themselves. They know how to do it. They know how to wash their hands and stay distanced from each other and take measures to protect themselves, their customers and stuff. You don't have to babysit and pretend to be everybody's mother. So ridiculous. And then, but Joe Biden said, so Trump says the people want to open back up. People want to go back to business. And Biden said, the people want safety. Stupid. As though they need the politicians to force them to do these dumb rules that defy logic. You saw those people on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, those phony liberal politicians. One woman saying, oh, I'm wearing the mask for a little bit of political theater, knowing that she did not need to be wearing a mask. And Joe Biden, all looking like a joke of a person, sitting in these backyards, way like 10, 20 feet away from the people that he's meeting with, the 3 other people that he's meeting with, or 2, looking silly, making a fool of himself. And he's saying the people want safety. Yeah, there are some females and female-minded cowards, judgmental cowards, who teach their children to judge people. He's not wearing a mask. He only cares about himself. He doesn't care about anybody else. That's what they're telling. That's what they're teaching their children. Imagine being taught that as a kid, and that's your father. You look up to him. You're saying, Dad, why doesn't that guy have a mask? Since we have to wear these masks. He doesn't care about anybody else. That I've heard fathers, I've told you this story before, that I went to the park, right? I'm walking. I go way around this father and son that show up to play a little soccer. Cute, white, or maybe Jewish father and son. And I go make sure to walk way around them up in Beverly Hills. And I do my little exercise and stretches. And I walk by and I hear the kid ask something, and I hear the father say, well, he doesn't care about anybody else. And he's talking loud so that I can hear him, because I'm like many yards ahead of them, by the way. I walked way around them. I stayed plenty socially distanced. It's outdoors. And he's teaching his son to be a judgmental female. That's child abuse. And then I walked by another couple way over on the other side of like a short wall and a hedge. And I hear this female say, put on your bleep and mask. Only she didn't say bleep. She said the actual cuss word. And I didn't look over. Imagine like all kinds of people are getting treated this way by dumb liberals, Beverly Hills liberals. Just judging, being nasty. And they want to act like Trump is dividing the country. They're hating their fellow man who's just outside, outdoors. It's fine. It's crazy. So, they brought up Charlottesville, you know? I love this Charlottesville topic. Yes, it's old news, but it's also fake news. Trump was that was one of his shining examples of telling the truth to the lies of the mainstream media and the lies of the Democrats and the rhinos, honestly, with Charlottesville, Virginia. I love that topic because it showed that the mainstream media does not mind lying, because there were independent journalists, including this young man named Ford Fisher, who I believe has been censored on YouTube. And Ford Fisher is a liberal, seemingly not remotely alt-right, not into the white thing at all. I think he's just a fairly maybe liberal or center-left independent journalist who took video footage of this incident. And he pointed out on, I saw it on a We Are Change, I think, YouTube channel with Luke, whatever that guy from We Are Change. That's also a pretty leftist but independent telling the truth outlet. I think of them as pretty left. They're okay with Trump, though, and they're not okay with Biden and the Democrats lately, because I think they're a little bit more honest. But these people tell the truth that mostly it was Antifa and Black Lives Matter attacking the so-called alt-right. And Trump told the truth. He mentioned violence on many sides, and he said very fine people on both sides, meaning like well-meaning people. It's a gracious statement to make. Because who knows, there could be well-meaning people who are brainwashed to think that racism is real and these people shouldn't be protesting the takedown of these Confederate monuments down in the South. Lee Park, Robert E. Lee, a hero, way better than anybody who's trying to take down his statue, way better of a man. And so Trump says, where does this stop? Are you gonna take down George Washington monuments next and all that stuff? Where does it end? Leave it. There are very fine people on both sides. And he said, and he may have gone a little bit too far, but he said, I'm not talking about the white supremacists, because I condemn them totally. But I'm saying that there are people who love this country, and it's getting out of hand with all these tearing down of these monuments. And what about the alt-left, he said, which is something that I guess Sean Hannity was talking about with Antifa and Black Lives Matter and just evil people attacking the right, physically attacking them, not just smearing them with words, physically attacking them. And it's been going on forever. And it's been going on against his supporters like crazy since before he was elected. San Jose, the Mexicans bloodied up these people, Trump supporters who were leaving a Trump rally. All over the country, this stuff has been happening. So Trump told the truth about it. And then Joe Biden, his whole campaign, I'll never forget, like, my former de facto producer, Dylon, thinks that Biden is such a scumbag because Biden's whole campaign was this, it was based on, or the pretense, right? The pretense for him running for office was because we're fighting for the soul of America because look at what happened in Charlottesville. The white supremacists with their veins throbbing, carrying these torches and saying anti-Semitic things, according to him. Because there was a torch rally. They carried these tiki torches. I don't even know who all it was, but I saw Chris Cantwell there and a few whites, maybe a bunch of whites, right? Saying, Jews will not replace us. Meaning they think that the Jews are running the country and bringing in all these foreigners, overrunning the system, which is something that Joe Biden supports, right? Turning whites into a minority. And why? Partly because whites are a bunch of conservative, American-loving, not a bunch of, but more than half of them, support Christianity, manhood, sanity, America, freedom. Whereas most of the other POCs do not support freedom. Most of the other non-normal Christian whites don't support freedom. Yeah, small minorities of each race do. And a few women too. But Trump told the truth on that, and Joe Biden he lied. And Chris Wallace credulously repeated the lie. Said, oh, you ran your campaign to support because Trump said there's very fine people. Joe Biden is based on lies. That's all he's based on. He's a shameless liar. That's what he did to Paul Ryan, and that's what he tried to do with Donald Trump, but Donald Trump cut in on a lot of those lies. And he behaved himself a lot of the time, too. He held his tongue when he could have been lie. He could have said wrong at practically everything that Joe Biden said. And so I think that, yes, Trump interrupted a lot, but he was addressing lies. What's up, Ronald? Nice to see you over there on Facebook. I will get into more of your super chats and all that stuff. I'm going to talk about a little bit more on Chris Wallace. I have a 1975 picture of him that you may have seen at the beginning of of this first hour. I'm going to get to your calls. Rick in Hampton wants to talk about the debates, and the rest of you callers. And some other things. People are calling it a circus. I have some Drudge headlines that are silly. And I have a crazy Vox article by this fake journalist, Aaron Rupar, who is not an honest person whatsoever. So, things like that. Oh, and this false smear upon Proud Boys, I'm going to touch on that too. All right, guys, I'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Hang tight for hour 2. Be right back. What's up, everybody? You know I'm back. It is 10:04 a.m. here. I'm going to get to your calls, but quickly, I just want to touch on this Chrisopher Wray thing. Chrisopher Wray is the FBI director right now. The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and he's as weak as he looks. Actually, he doesn't look necessarily that weak, but in other pictures you can tell, I think. These people are so phony. Chrisopher Wray is one of the people who he might have, according to Joe Biden, Chrisopher Wray said, oh, Antifa is more of an idea. Is something that he said to Congress or the Senate, right? And he's one of the people in the swamp, in the deep state, undermining the president. And undermining America, honestly. Saying that white supremacist terrorism is the major lethal threat in the country. It's equal in its threat to foreign terrorism. Well, it's interesting because if there's any truth to the notion that I don't call them white supremacists, I call them like white terrorists. Let's just call them white terrorists, right? If anybody commits like a white terrorist act in the name of like starting a race war, like Dylan Roof, that he wanted to start a race war. So you could call that a white terrorist act, which is counter to the interests of America of white people, of decent people. So he was like a misled, just like the blacks, misled, poorly raised, on drugs, young man, got angry because he realized that he was lied to. Think about it. In America, whites are, maybe 63, non-Hispanic whites are 63% of the population, maybe, and declining, getting smeared like crazy. And now there are, like, every now and then, one or two think that they have to commit a terror attack in their own country. Reminds me of the Muslims. You know how the Muslims commit terror attacks in their own country and in America and different places? Because they feel that they're getting, the radical Muslims, the angry ones, most of them poorly raised themselves. Jesse Lee Peterson covers the Muslim situation in The Antidote in his book. Talks about how their family situation, the fathers, it's not right. There are many times where it's polygamy, right? And so the father's attention is divided. The different mothers are competing for the father's attention, and all kinds of different things going on. And I've read stories about these Muslims who grow up in Birmingham or wherever, you know, in UK, where they don't belong, but they grow up there. Maybe they're refugees or immigrants or whatever. And the children grow up, maybe a single mother. They're in these gangs. Some of them get so-called radicalized and go out and join ISIS and stuff like that. It's crazy. Same situation, bad families. All around the world. No matter who you are, white, black, Muslim, Jewish, or whatever. Even the Asians. Remember that one Asian guy who shot up Virginia Tech? Look at his family, right? But those Muslims, they're getting a pass. They're saying, oh, they're only committing terror because they're getting attacked. Where is that sense of understanding? You know, their homes are getting disrupted. Their lives are getting meddled with. Where is that sense of understanding regarding the white terrorists? There is none. They just smear all whites for it, all decent whites especially, for it. And then there are those people who fake like they understand. They pretend like they're going to humanize the racist. Because to call somebody a racist or a Nazi is dehumanizing, because you can punch Nazis, according to them. Kill the racist. I showed you pictures from 1996, the July 4th rally yesterday. It said, death to racists. Silence the racist voice. And that's just calling anybody who's standing for what's right with regard to the immigration situation, including boomers who don't mind regular immigration. They just don't want the illegal immigration. Or older people, too. First things first, right? Oh, yeah. Joe Biden, so phony, by the way. This is a side note. But this fake female mindset, appealing to victimhood, saying, how many of you guys woke up with an empty spot at the table? Because one of your family members died of this COVID-19 thing. And smearing Trump for it. When there's no evidence that it's remotely even Trump's fault. It's crazy. But this Chrisopher Wray guy, and he's in charge of the FBI. And then yesterday I reported about that good-looking guy. Chad Wolf. Chad. Wolf. I don't know if he's part Hispanic or what. Seems like a nice guy, but when he says, like, when in terms of lethality, whites are the major terror threat, he's just ignoring the total destruction and undermining of America and the system by Black Lives Matter. By Black Lives Matter. Not just Antifa, Black Lives Matter. They're evil. And the whole Democrat Party is evil and corrupt. But Most of the FBI, most of the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is Chad Wolf's. He's the acting secretary or whatever. Are a bunch of liberals. And so they want to pretend, they're not an enemy. They're nice. Nice radicals, nice enemies of America. That's how the gays get you guys. Yeah, Chad Wolf is DHS, Department of Homeland Security. That's how the gays trick you. They act nice until you disagree with them, and then they don't act nice anymore. But they ingratiate themselves with you. That's how so many evil people do. They're very friendly, engaging, ingratiate themselves with you, get what they want. Like what Nancy Pelosi did. She kissed John Boehner on the cheek. John Boehner being a dumb former politician, right? So Chrisopher Wray, show the pictures of this Chrisopher Wray with his wife getting sworn in. Was he appointed? What a disgrace. Shame on you, Trump. There he is getting sworn in. There's his wife looking at him. Looks, well, I don't want to go there regarding the wife, but he looks like a little boy with her. And then there's that other guy, don't remind me about him, Jeff Sessions, who we thought was solid. Not so solid, I don't think. Another politician. Former Attorney General, former Senator Jeff Sessions. I really don't blame Trump for not wanting him back in. I know a lot of you guys are very pro Jeff Sessions. I liked him. I thought he was solid. I liked him. I liked Ted Cruz. I assumed that I liked Mike Lee. I liked that former governor of Wisconsin, the guy who wrote Unintimidated. He wrote a book called Unintimidated. But they all turned out to be phony politicians. Shameful. And they play like these people aren't the enemies of America that they are. I'm going to touch on this crazy Vox article. Domestic terrorism is homegrown violent extremism that are inspired by foreign organizations. It really, not necessarily inspired by foreign organizations, I don't think. I think it's but anyway, for my definition. But that's how the DHS qualifies domestic terrorism with regards to Chad Wolf. But it's weird how they can it's like they want to drive you crazy too. Because people who are like truth or like facts or like hearing the truth, people who enjoy hearing President Trump, who enjoy Tucker Carlson, who enjoy Jesse Lee Peterson. That's why Jesse's so right about overcoming the anger, because that'll drive you nuts. These people just brazenly lying about what's right before your eyes. Let me get to Rick in Hampton, Virginia. He wants to touch on the debates and Chris Wallace, and then I'll talk about this Vox article. Rick, how are you doing?
My brother, good. My brother James, love you guys, man.
Thank you.
How you doing today?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm fine, man. Sure, good. Nice day over here in Hampton, Virginia, man. Nice fall weather, sunny.
Right on.
Ask for nothing more.
That's cool.
And what do you think about the debate?
I enjoyed it. I was left wanting a little bit more, but Trump, like I've been saying, Trump told the truth. This Joe Biden lied, and Chris Wallace helped along the lies as well. But Trump did pretty well.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But Trump did pretty well.
They both interrupted, and one thing I can say, President Trump, I didn't hear President Trump call Vice President Biden no names whatsoever, like idiot or
right. Yeah, I don't think he did either.
I mean, I didn't record that at all. I looked at it. Now he probably said that's not true. You know, if he said a statement, that's about all he said.
Right.
But as far as launching insults, I didn't hear him call Biden. I didn't even hear him call him Sleepy Joe.
Yeah. No, I didn't hear him.
He was classy.
He's generally actually quite appropriate, given any context, right? Back in that 2005 thing, he was talking. He was having a private conversation. Unfortunately it was recorded on hot mic. You've never heard him. Right. You've never heard him say publicly, "Grab them by the, you know what." Right?
Oh,
You've never heard him say that, but you hear everybody else who is actually disgusting repeating it. What he said in private and he doesn't repeat it in public, they repeat it in public because they're gross. They're the ones who are sick.
I agree, man. It's so funny, James. It's like they was even trying to blame the coronavirus on President Trump. What can he do? What could he have done besides what they're doing now?
I know. It's dumb. It's just, it doesn't have to be true. You just have to say it. I think Jesse Lee Peterson said that line, and that is so true. It doesn't have to be true. You just have to say it. And that's what Joe Biden has done for 47 years. Just repeated lies.
Man.
Just grandstanded and pretended that he was real. And people fell for it. Because he's a very ingratiating, charming person. He puts his hand on your shoulder. And you start to think that he's nice. And he's fake. What'd you think about Chris Wallace?
So, man, he was happy. I noticed, he always said when President Trump was trying to say, no, it's not your turn, President. I mean, he was trying to keep them both, but when Joe was calling names, if I was tomorrow, I'd say, hey, no name calling, we're going to keep it professional. This is a debate. Even if I've been, if I've been there, that's what I mean, no name calling, stick to the issues.
Interesting. I'm okay with name calling, but Trump was classy. He didn't engage in that. I'm okay with name calling because I want them to be themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And that's so Joe Biden was his phony, angry, bitter, petty self.
Yep.
Yeah.
He like that. You're the worst president of the United States. You know what? If I was President Trump, I would say, we'll see at the polls.
Right. Yeah.
It's just funny, man. It's like, I like the debate. I knew it was going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
But see, Trump got thick skin because, President Trump used to host The Apprentice. So he's used to, insults
I don't think that came from The Apprentice. I think that maybe that helped too. But he's been actually making deals and working with tough people over in New York. He's built up, and I think that he's tougher today than he ever has been. In 2012, I feel like I remember him playing like he was going to run, and other years he played like he was going to run. Mm-hmm. But he got boycotted sometimes, and he just pulled out. It seems like his character is stronger today than it ever has been. Yeah,
I give him a lot of credit, man, because from taking from the media, man, I voted for Ted Cruz, for the Republican primary. But do you think Ted Cruz could take all this?
No way. You really voted for Ted Cruz in the primaries back in 20...
In the primaries, I did.
Wow.
I voted for Ted Cruz.
I'm surprised.
In the primaries.
Because with those debates, the Republican debates, President Trump, it was night and day. That's what exposed Ted Cruz, his phoniness to me. I didn't think that Lion Ted was necessarily accurate. I didn't consider him to be a liar, but I didn't mind him saying it. But Ted Cruz was just not a genuine person. He was a phony politician. And Trump really exposed that about all 16 or 17 of his opponents in all those rhinos, bunch of rhinos. Scott Walker was the Wisconsin governor, right? Phony guy too.
Scott Walker.
Yeah, exactly. Those guys are they're a bunch of fakes. I used to like Ted Cruz. I was so excited about him. I thought, oh man, he's real. His father's pretty cool. Maybe I liked his father a little bit better than him. But I thought that they were real conservative and principled. And then Trump goes on stage and just makes them look like children. A man among boys. A man among boys.
So I didn't know you didn't like Ted Cruz too much there, James. I didn't know that.
I used to, but I still like him, but I don't trust him whatsoever. I used to think very highly of him, and now I see that he's a phony politician, unfortunately. Maybe he'll grow out of it, but his reaction to Trump, he tried to treat Trump like a child. Going back 4 years, right? He's like, breathe, Donald, breathe. So phony, acting like his mother or something. And then he said, I mean, I hate to bag on Ted Cruz too much, but, well, maybe I don't hate to do it. He said, well, the way Trump talked about my wife, insulted my wife, because President Trump, I'm getting too excited. President Trump tweeted out a picture of Trump's wife, and then Ted Cruz's wife with an ugly face, with an ugly expression. And then it was funny. It was a funny contrast. And so Ted Cruz was pretty like a kiss up to women, and so I didn't like that either. So I like when Cruz stands on the real conservative principles. When he does, I don't know how much he really does, but I like when he repeats them. But that's just talk. And I like when he backs up Trump and supports him. So right on for that. But he was petty. So anyway, I'm surprised that you voted for Cruz in the primary.
During the primaries, yes, I did. Because I guess then after I voted for him, then once President Trump won it, then I got him. I said, I should have been supporting President Trump from the beginning. Then as the primary was going,
no harm done.
I said,
no harm done.
Because as it was going, I said, Trump's the man. And plus, he's an outsider, never been to D.C., you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he has his own money, so you ain't got to worry about him have to be, trying to be bought. People trying to buy him off,
Yeah, that's true, too. I just like his, above all else, is just his genuineness, That's in my mind, that's what sealed it for me. He told the truth about people coming from Mexico, and he stood by it. And over again, he stood by when he's told the truth, when everybody else was pretending that the lie was the truth and that he was telling lies. But he stood on what was right with Charlottesville. That was so thrilling because nobody else was saying it, at least not in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick.
You can't, okay, well, Jay, I'll be okay. But anyway, thanks for taking my call, James. Love you, brother. God bless you all. Y'all keep with the good work.
Appreciate it, man. You too. Take care.
2020.
Nice. Yep. Let me quickly get to Danny, first-time caller in Oklahoma. He's raising an interesting concern. Danny, what's up?
Yes.
Hey.
What's up, brother? Truck driving down the road.
Say that again?
Heading south on I-35. I'm heading south on I-35. Thought I'd call into your show.
Appreciate it. Right on. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, last night when I was watching the debate and everything, I want to know, why aren't the Democrats just as concerned as the Republicans or Donald Trump of some kind of scamish situation going on with the mail-in? Is it because they already know they're going to do something scamish to try to, get what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're trying to say. That is a very interesting question. I don't know if they are scheming or anything. I do know that they're scheming, right? They're always scheming. But I don't know if they have anything specific going in terms of fraud or stuffing the ballots, ballot stuffing. Is that a real thing? But I loved, and also it was very sobering when Trump raised the concerns about the mail-in ballots and about the ballots in general. Isn't it nice, Trump pointed out, that on November 3rd, or the election day, that same night, we learn the results of the election. But it could be 7 days before they even receive some of the mail-in ballots, because they just have to be postmarked by election day. And Joe Biden saying, even if it's postmarked by then and it's more than a week, we'll still get your ballot as long as it's right. And he says, make sure you fill out this affidavit thing. I think that they know that the more people who are not that interested in politics and who are more interested in their own selfish stuff are those people, the more of those people who vote or under their name votes are cast, that it's going to help them because idiots tend to vote Democrat. And so I think more people voting and more a flood of these mail-in ballots, it helps them. Democrats don't mind cheating. Look at the illegal immigration. They don't mind illegals coming in and staying. They don't like the laws enforced. Look at the Black Lives Matter riots and the Antifa riots. They don't prosecute their crimes. Look at everything. They want to get rid of the drug laws, which I know a lot of you guys want to legalize that stuff, but they don't mind breaking the law. Yeah,
I know you got a bunch. I know you got other callers. Like, why do the white people that are in Congress, like Pelosi, if she reminds me of a white lady I could sit there and have a conversation with years back and talk about how she doesn't like how a lot of minorities act, or even we all know that not all black people are bad and not all white people are good. But I did grow up in an area where a lot of my black friends were involved in street stuff, and I know that she would sit there and talk bad about them to her. She wouldn't want her granddaughter or her daughter to date one of them. Yeah. But then sit there and like be patting them on the butt like, oh no, man, you know what I'm saying? Them white people just hating on you. Keep doing that, that's cool. But then turn around and sit there drinking some wine or toasting like, oh yeah, we got them. Look at them, going to vote for us. Like, that stuff's weird to me, that how easily, just call it as it is. A lot of my friends are black, and a lot of them have stopped talking to me because I try to tell them, like, dude, they are, like, literally using you. Like, they don't care at all, 100%, not going to change nothing. It's crumbs. It's nothing. Right. And I just, why do the white people that, Joe Biden sits there, and if he found out that his wife was cheating on him with a black guy, he's sitting there using the N-word all freaking day. And, like, how a black person could even look at Joe Biden hearing the racist things he said and the laws that have handcuffed so many black people and put them in prison, and you could ever think about doing that. Ever. That's crazy.
I don't know much about the laws and whether they were just or unjust of, the 90s and 80s and all that stuff, or even the 2000s. I don't know much about that stuff, and I don't know or really care whether Joe had a loose tongue or not. And I don't think that normal blacks, any black, should care about what Joe Biden has said in the past. I think that they should be concerned with what you alluded to with their phoniness, their hypocrisy. They're just lying to get power. Because you're right, they know that there is a criminal element, a huge criminal element in the black community that's causing problems to all races, blacks first, but all races in America. And they know that the illegals are causing problems, and the Hispanic immigrants are not getting along with the blacks as well as the radicals at the top like to pretend. But I think it's all about power, and it's also being nice and trying to be fair and reasonable. They pretend like they're being fair and reasonable by saying.
But how do you remove those smoke and mirrors and show them the real reality of what's really going on? How do you take those smoke and mirrors away from the Democratic Party leaders that are at the top and literally doing this and sitting back and laughing? I
think that you be real and you tell the truth and you set a good example. Like
Donald Trump, but then you get called racist.
Like Trump, who cares if he doesn't care if he gets called racist? He stays telling the truth, and there are a few people waking up from that. So he has helped remove the smoke and mirrors, and think about the overreaction to him, and the way that they see the country as weak, meaning the radicals see the country as weak, and that's why they're invading police stations and burning police stations and forming what I call lynch mobs to get prosecutions against cops who do something that's reasonable with regard to shooting back with regard to the Breonna Taylor case. It's reasonable to shoot back.
Yes.
So they sense that there is a big weakness in the country, and so they're striking. But Trump is a man who's standing fairly strongly for what's right, and they're overreacting to him, and that overreaction is waking a lot of people up too. I think a lot of people are seeing that this is a lot of, like what you said, smoke and mirrors, this phony idea of racism, and we need to give power to Democrats and to Black Lives Matter when we need to take power away from them and call them what they are. They're anti-decency and anti-America. So I think that that's what's, and it's only going to be, it's not going to be the majority of people. So you're not going to get the satisfaction of everybody waking up, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no,
you know, we might get a Trump win. I'm thinking that we will. He's fighting to win, I think. And he's the man for the job, for the presidency. And then on the local level, we got to, you and I and everybody has to set the right example so that.
Well, hopefully just on your show you can promote, you know, even Democrats, like, because I'm not saying that I don't agree with some of the Democratic stuff and, you know, feel this way or that way, but I do feel like Trump is the best for the head of the country right now.
Yeah.
So maybe you could promote on your shows like, hey, even Democrats, you should want it to be.
Right.
Just so Trump and them don't, because Trump and them might be looking at it like, shit, we might have to pull something out just to, because you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that sounds horrible, but man, the time and period that we're in, you know, I don't know. I would just think that the Democrats would want it to be the right way too, because
the decent ones who are
everybody.
just the decent ones who are suckered into still being Democrats, like Leo Terrell or whatever. Yeah, they. I think that a lot of them are coming over. Danny, are you black or white or what?
I'm a white guy.
Okay.
A white fellow.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it, Danny. Good to hear from you, man.
Yes, sir. All right, man. I'll call again down the road. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Be safe.
Okay. Take care, man.
All right.
So, quickly before I get to Jose in Miami, Florida, he says Mike Wallace was unethical. I'll get to him in a sec, but I got some interesting texts from Bible Go-To Guy who reminds us Ted Cruz, he says, has no business running for president ever. He was born in Canada to an American citizen mother and a Cuban father. Yeah, they Roger Stone called him Calgary Ted or something like that. Interesting. But he also disagrees with me, I think, about Trump not caring about being called racist, and he just stays telling the truth. He says, I disagree. All whites, including Donald Trump, care deeply about being called racist. Donald just cares more about the truth. The only whites that do not care are the ones who have been born again through the teachings of Jesse Peterson. Maybe. You know, I think people just roll their eyes at being called racist. Remember that guy who was called a racist or a white supremacist or a neo-Nazi? That probably older than a boomer. They're driving around this Florida retirement community or something in their golf carts doing a Trump parade, right? A pro-Trump parade. And that guy, he gets called a neo-Nazi or a racist or a white supremacist. And he goes, oh, yeah, white supremacist, white power. And he's totally being sarcastic. And everybody, you know, all the stupid media are like, that's not something to even joke about. Yeah, Trump retweeted a person who said white power. That was, and he unretweeted it. So maybe you're right. But he should have left it up, because anybody who saw the clip could tell. And what's so wrong if he did say white power? If he even meant it, which he didn't. It's ridiculous, but who cares? I thought this was America, where you have the freedom. Speaking of freedom, let me get to Jose in Miami, Florida. Jose, thanks for holding. What's up?
What's up, James?
Hey.
So, yesterday night, right? It showed the colors of Chris Wallace and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
He basically is a fox in sheep's clothing. He interrupted Trump.
Yeah.
He said, Mr. President, let him speak. It's an open discussion. Let Trump speak. And
let Biden speak.
So then to Biden, then to then to Trump.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it
that's true.
really shows. That's the only reason. The only reason I watch Fox is for Tucker Carlson, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't want this Chris Wallace and whatever, bro. I don't want to see Chris Wallace ever again. He should be a CNN.
Yeah, you know, I heard that Chris Wallace used to call out how the media is liberal, but he's liberal too, and
No,
he
he's
is a snake, a fox in sheep's clothing, as you said.
He's a snake.
Yeah.
He's a snake in sheep's clothing. That's what he is.
That's,
How dare you disrespect the president like that?
Yeah, and what you said, where he interrupted Trump and then accused him of saying, no, and then said, this is supposed to be an open discussion. Well, he just shut down that open discussion. He needs to be a little more loosey-goosey with the thing so that they can actually have a natural conversation.
And yesterday, man, it was a party, man. I got my entire family. We were like, Trump,
Right.
Trump. Everyone was having fun.
Nice.
And when I said, you want to socialize healthcare, you want to make it socialist, that's exactly what I said. It's just what I've been saying to people, from my school and stuff like that. These people are socialists. I lived in socialism. I know what this guy's talking about.
You're the one from, are you the one from Cuba?
Yes, I am, sir.
How old are you again?
15. Yeah, I'm turning 15 right now.
Wow. Nice, man. How are you so into I guess people who grew up in crazy situations are kind of into politics. I got a call from a 17-year-old from Greece. I got to clip that.
No,
that was a good yesterday.
Since Trump was there, right? And my uncle, he has his own YouTube channel. He has like 3,000 followers. He told me, hey, look, listen to Jesse Peterson and get a job. And I found you in one of these videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. You know what I mean? Nice.
Appreciate that, Jose.
Exactly. And so what I was saying is I want to start my own political party.
What's that?
The Nationalist Conservative Party of America, NCPA.
NCPA. Interesting.
The nationalist, because we need white nationalist men of power that believe in God.
I agree, man. I agree. We can't be caving to this phony fear mongering about white supremacists when it's so fake.
This country is going into a pile of dog poo-poo, and I'm seeing it with my own very eyes because I've seen it go to Cuba.
Yeah.
And I've seen my great-grandpa get his farm taken away by those communists. They're communists. They're not liberals. They're communists.
Right.
They are.
Yeah, that's true. And by communists, it means they're outright evil.
They're like fascism, socialism has every power-hungry political party that wants to have power have some roots of liberalism, democraticism, whatever evil, nasty thing you could think of is the left.
Yeah.
Because I've been conservative. I believe in conservatism. I want to raise children. Not raise children. I want to have children. Have a wife that can raise my children. Have a barn. I want to live the simple American dream.
Nice. So, are you in school right now? Are you going to be going to school, or are you doing school from home?
I'm going to school. I'm not staying inside my house.
What's that? Oh, you're going to the school.
I want to socialize, man. I
know. I understand. I totally understand that.
I fall for that liberal political things that they have in school, so I'm cool with that.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But you can be like one of those guys who stands up, the lone voice telling the truth in these schools that are overrun with.
I already have 10 kids already there saying, yo, what's this guy's channel? What's James Hake's channel?
Nice. Appreciate that. Yeah, I've heard stories of these guys who are, the teacher tells this boy to take down a Trump flag or a Trump banner from his bedroom because he's doing Zoom, right? What's that?
You could say this when this country becomes communist. That's what I say to my teachers.
Yeah, it's well on its way, man. It basically is already a socialist communist country. When you have a whole Democrat Party that's for that, against America, and you have the Republicans kissing up to them as though they have any legitimacy.
This is why I want to create my own political party. These people should have an understanding of what America was like back then. I don't want these liberal communist ideas put into kids. You know, they have transgenders teaching kids and this. What is this? Back in the day, you would have got yourself beat up for being like that.
I know. But that's probably part of the problem, is that was not the right reaction to them. And so then people started to feel sorry for them and go the opposite extreme, opposite evil.
No,
it's actually the same evil.
I would never feel sorry for someone who's doing wrong. I would help them overcome it, like just
exactly. Yep. I appreciate it, Jose.
Power.
It's good to hear from you, Jose. Call me again, man.
You too, buddy.
All right. Take care. Interesting. Hang on, Kenny in Idaho. I will be getting to you. I just got to touch on this crazy lying Vox.com article. Vox.com came out with an article yesterday, September 29th, before the debate, right? About Trump's adversarial relationship with presidential debate moderator Chris Wallace. Explained. Because Vox pretends to give you all the facts, right? Well, it's propaganda. And there's a picture of Trump shaking Chris Wallace's hand from 2016, because Chris Wallace was involved in helping moderate a debate, along with that female, Megyn Kelly, who's fallen off the face of the earth for going up against Trump. You'll notice all who go against God's man will fail. Some of them last a while, like Nancy Pelosi, but evil people. But the subtitle to that article says, Trump expects total loyalty from Fox News. No, he doesn't. They're just making that up. He doesn't like Chris Wallace because Wallace won't give it to him, meaning give him total loyalty. What a dumb lie. Chris Wallace is a liberal, and that's by this far-left Aaron Rupar, A.T. Rupar on Twitter. And that guy is a liar. I've seen him lie and lie and lie and just mischaracterize. Accuse Trump of being whining when he talks about how NBC and all these major networks didn't cover the fact that he got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize twice. And now I heard that it's a third time now. Somebody else has nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. No, thanks. I don't want it. It doesn't have any validity in my mind. Once Obama got it, I'm like, they just give these things away. So, no, thanks. Don't really want it, but it used to be a big deal. At one time, it may have been a respectable thing. I almost doubt it. I actually do doubt it. But Trump doesn't want total loyalty, but they just say it. And that's the type of person who gets this big following on social media, the social media establishment, and they have the blue check mark, and they put out lies, and they get propped up by the social media establishment. And also Twitter, the publisher, the fake news publisher, far left fake news publisher, that allows you to tweet and pretend like you have a platform, and then they'll clamp down on you if you tell too much truth. And they'll fact-check Trump with lies. Trump will tell us something true about mail-in ballots having problems or potential problems, and they'll say, see what the real truth is and why mail-in ballot voting is safe and secure. Lies. So they were overreacting to the fact that President Trump said, Proud Boys, stand back, stand by, because Trump should condemn the Proud Boys, I guess, when he was asked to condemn white supremacists at a presidential debate. And why are Proud Boys even mentioned in the same sentence with white supremacists? Because of the false smears. There is no white supremacists. I don't know any. Moderator Chris Wallace asked the U.S. president during the first presidential debate whether he would condemn white supremacists, to which Trump eventually replied, "Sure, I'm willing to do that." And then he's like, name somebody. And then Chris Wallace mentions Proud Boys. Ridiculous. Maybe it was Biden, because there's so much confusion there. Proud Boys, stand back. Oh, it was Biden who named them. Stand back, stand by. According to Washington Post, the Proud Boys have been described, which is a lie, fake news, have been described by the FBI as a far-right male-exclusive group. Try to make it sound as bad as possible, because male means bad, right? An assertion to which the group that the Bureau also considers the group to have ties to white nationalism. An assertion the group objected to. According to CNN, the Proud Boys appeared donning armor and firearms at recent rallies in Portland, Oregon. Ooh. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. You can't put on armor to protect yourself from Antifa? You can't carry a weapon? And in Portland, Oregon, excuse me, that's where a Patriot Prayer man, a religious man, Patriot Prayer being like a miniature Proud Boys, I think. But they're specifically, I think, Christian. Maybe not. Maybe they're just into praying. But an innocent Trump supporter shot and killed in cold blood in Portland, Oregon. And they have to act like this is a bad thing to carry a weapon in Portland, Oregon? So, Proud Boys are decent. The mainstream media is indecent. Trump should condemn the mainstream media. He should disavow them, even though he talks to them. You know? So, ridiculous. And it's also phony. They act like, oh, white supremacists are going to attack the country. I know, it was in my predictions. We did a predictions thing for 2020. I'm like, we're about due. Aren't we due for another, like, crazy incident that's going to be blamed, used to smear white people and smear men and take away the Second Amendment? Aren't we due for another crazy incident like that? Some type of mass shooting. Not that I want that to happen, but those things just happen. October. Surprise, maybe. And then they'll try to blame Trump. They'll try to blame whites. They'll try to blame men. They'll try to blame America. Meanwhile, these people are enemies of the country and enemies of the blacks that they pretend to be supporting. Because blacks are dying more because of the attacks on police by Black Lives Matter and Antifa and the mainstream media and the Democrats and even the rhinos who kiss up to this stuff. I didn't like Trump addressing the race issue by saying, oh, he dealt with the crime stuff, letting criminals out of jail and attacking Joe Biden on the crime stuff. Attack him for lying about racism, about him, about whites. I did not like that. So there, Russ, there's another thing I disagreed with Trump about. He didn't need to be repeating that. He should have just boldly told the truth that this whole Black Lives Matter has nothing to complain about. They have nothing to complain about. They are enemies of the black people that they pretend to be supporting. They're enemies of themselves. Being a fat lesbian, that's the worst thing for you if you're a woman. It's not good to be fat. It's not going to be good to be a lesbian. That's throwing your life away. You don't actually think Black Lives Matter. You don't even think your own life matters. Anyway, Just Saying says, stand back, stand by. Yes, sir, Mr. President. Yeah, I like that line. Because you're just going to get smeared, guys. But do defend yourself. Logan76 with the diamond. Thank you, man. Appreciate the support. Let me get to Kenny in Idaho. Kenny, what's up? How are you doing?
Oh, magnificent. Magnificent. Did anybody already mention that, just for a split second, Joe Biden woke up from like a short nap right there in the first 10 minutes of the debate last night. Did you happen to check that out?
I wasn't watching in the first 10 minutes. I was listening on my phone because I stayed here at Bond until like almost 6 p.m. And then I was driving home and I was listening.
Oh, okay. Well, you wouldn't have caught it on your earphones. It was another point I wanted to make along those lines.
When did he? What did he do that made him look like he woke up? Just describe it for me.
It looked like at one point he was looking down at his notes, but as far as I can tell, he was getting some encouragement in his earpiece, so he could he could have some ammunition. But later on, I only watched the first half hour, and then I watched the last 10 minutes. Since it went 10 minutes beyond. The moderator, Chris Wallace, he prompted Biden was given this signal like he didn't remember the question, and Chris Wallace repeated it. All like trying to rush in. It was really exaggerated. He was trying to rush in to pretend that Joe Biden didn't miss the question that he meant to restate it.
Interesting.
But Joe gave that dumb look right there.
Yeah.
I think that was within the first half hour of that debates. And
he's definitely
you're right.
He's definitely not as sharp as he used to be, even though he was on it for a liberal. He was on it for a liberal. I knew that he was going to be so-called formidable. But he's like weak, decrepit, looking old. I was looking at Trump. Yeah. He looks like he's in his 60s, not his 70s. Trump.
Yeah, I flipped back and forth between the Fox channel. Regular broadcast television, and then
show the picture of Chris Wallace. By the way, I want to show Chris Wallace 1975 with his mustache and hair and no glasses. Look at that guy. That's about what journalists look like today too, except maybe most of them are not white or men. But even there, like, he looks soft.
Yep, he's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Just because he's capitalizing on the coattails of his father, Mike Wallace.
Right. Yeah, Trump calls him a wannabe Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace, I guess, was a great journalist or something.
Yeah, Chris doesn't care. He's getting paid.
Right.
Chris Wallace doesn't care.
Yeah. And he's getting propped up.
I'll let you get to other callers, James.
Appreciate it, Kenny. Good to hear from you, man.
Have a great day. Okay.
Thank you. Same to you. People are saying all kinds of stuff about what Chris Wallace looked like. I halfway don't want to repeat him. Reprobata mindset. I'm sorry I didn't get to you. He dropped out. He was on the line there for a second. But this whole thing about Trump wanting loyalty and this overreaction, it shows you how fake the mainstream media is. ABC News, Axios, Yamiche Alcindor, who's some blue checkmark PBS NewsHour person on Twitter, also on MSNBC, New York Times, former New York Times, USA Today. All of this establishment, all of these people. And what was Chris Wallace talking about with condemning the militia groups? He acts like he really believes that Kenosha was a problem with the militia. That's such a lie. Chris Wallace said, "Will you condemn the white supremacist groups as we've seen in blah, 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 and Kenosha?" I'm like, excuse me? Kenosha, thank God Kyle Rittenhouse had a gun. And you can say, oh, he didn't need to be there. He was there to protect people and property. And he ably did that. And himself. They're pretending that Antifa was not the problem. Chris Wallace. Did he ask Joe Biden to condemn Antifa? I'm not going to expect Chris Wallace to ask Joe Biden to condemn Black Lives Matter because the mainstream media is pretending that Black Lives Matter has any legitimacy. It's because they have to, because the mainstream media has no legitimacy either. AP, Associated Press, Yahoo News, of course. Sherilyn Ifill, she's part of the NAACP, National Association Against Colored People. Against colored people. I stole that from Jesse, but I'm running with it. The refusal of the President of the United States to denounce white supremacists on nationwide TV, it's called national TV, woman, when asked to do so directly, launches us into a new and very ominous place. No, the ominous place is the fact that this mail-in stuff, this mail-in ballot thing, is wide open to corruption, and like half the country's pretending that it's not. And this pretense that white supremacists are a problem. They're not. They're not. Every now and then, yeah, somebody will commit a crime, shoot up a synagogue, or things like that. But like I said, that's a reaction, an overreaction to the attack on white people. So, stop that. And then you won't have whites feeling like they need to be a terrorist in their own country. It's ridiculous. We're opening the treasure chest, guys. And the Proud Boys are decent. They're just like the people. Jesse Lee Peterson released this footage of he and many other America-loving people back in 1996 did this Prop 187 rally. I covered Prop 187 yesterday. No welfare for illegal aliens. And the Communist Revolutionary Workers Party, not even wannabe workers, pretend workers, stood up against them, and La Raza, and Aztec dancers, and Asian Pacific Islander stupid people were doing yes, justice, no racists, and calling everybody racist and attacking these people. The Proud Boys are just like those people, America-loving people, Western civilization-loving people. And yes, they get into fights because people attack them. If Antifa didn't exist, Proud Boys would not be hitting anybody. Or Black Lives Matter, too. Black Lives Matter attacks people as well. There would be no hitting. There would be no need for the guns and all that stuff. But evil is real. Shout out to Evil is Real. And the true evil, the worst evil, is they're turning a blind eye to that true evil of Black Lives Matter, the mainstream media, academia, the rhinos, the Democrats, and they're scapegoating whites, just like what Hitler did to the Jews. He scapegoated those Jews. Now they're scapegoating the whites, even though the whites are like the majority, supposedly. What a mess. Oh, I gotta tell you quickly about Brad Parscale. Check out my Hake News segment from today. Brad Parscale, they railroaded him. I'm thinking that they railroaded him. I don't trust Daily Mail. They're a sleazy far-left outlet. People pretend to call them right-wing because sometimes they put out information that's the right-wing uses because they sometimes put out true stuff. But they're a sleazy tabloid. Foreigners, too. And they accused Brad Parscale of stealing money from the RNC, Republicans, and Trump's campaign. Don't think that it's true. There he is with his lying wife. She just looks like a liar. And he just looks like an innocent, somewhat talented guy who has worked for Trump for a while. But he married her. What a mistake. He already had a kid. He already had a marriage. or prior marriage, that they divorced many years prior to that. Anyway, guys, yeah, the squeaky chair. Appreciate it, guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse's stuff. RebuildingTheMan.com/church for the Sunday service premiere. Hopefully 4 p.m. today. I think I should be able to make it happen. All right? Take care, guys.
Yeah.